All right, everyone. So I am doing um, check your understanding number 4 on page 179. So using factoring to solve a word problem. But the question is, the area of a rectangle is represented by the trinomial 3x squared minus 19x minus 14 right here. Okay. So factor the trinomial to determine possible dimensions of the rectangle. Now, guys, if I'm going to come up with a quick picture of it, okay, so this is probably a rectangle. The rectangle will be given by length times width, right? So what it's saying is you are going to come up with factors for this trinomial, and it will be factored into two binomials, right? So the two binomials will represent the length and the width, okay? Now, if that doesn't make sense, take a look at what I'm going to do. So let's begin to factor this first. 3x squared minus 19x minus 14. Now, we talked about how to factor this by using decomposition and um, trial and error. So let's just do decomposition for now, and let's take a look, okay? To be able to do that, we need to identify the A, B, and C values. So my A value is 3. My B value is negative 19. And my C value is negative 14. So what we need to do to be able to factor this is to figure out, okay, so what would be my A times C value, all right? A times C, that would be 3 times negative 14. And that would be negative 42, right? Now, we know that our B value is negative 19. So the question is, what are those numbers such that when we multiply the two numbers, we will get negative 42 and they add up to negative 19. So let's take a look, all right? So negative 42 would be equal to two numbers that I will multiply. It gives me negative 42, and the same two numbers, when I add them up, it gives me negative 19, okay? So for negative 42, there are so many numbers, like 1 and negative 42. Obviously, that doesn't work. What about 2 and 21? Wait a minute. 2 and 21 are 19 away from each other. I think that is the best pair to use. All right. So I think we can try 2 and negative 21. All right. Let's see. 2 times negative 21, obviously, is negative 42. 2 plus negative 21 is negative 19. There you go. So we just found the two numbers that we're looking for. What would be the next step? Well, we are going to break up this original trinomial into four terms now, wherein the middle term would be broken up into two parts, okay? So let's see. The 3x squared remains the same. The negative 14 remains the same, while the middle term becomes this. It becomes plus 2 x minus 21 x. Now, once again, I am telling you that if you're thinking, what if I put negative 21x before the 2x? Is it going to be the same? The answer is yes. I would rather that you try it out yourself so that you can actually practice and see that, oh, there's another way to do it if you switch over the two numbers. Okay. So once you get to this point, what you're going to do is you're going to factor these two and you're going to factor these two. All right. So let's see. 3x squared plus 2x, I think, has a common factor, which is x. And that would be having 3x plus 2 as factors for the first two terms right here. Okay. Okay. So I would often suggest that what you do is to double check right away. Are you doing this correctly? How can you tell? If you do the distributive property, x times 3x, it's 3x squared, so that's good. X times 2 is 2x, so that's good. Let's move on to the next one. You have to understand that if you're doing this correctly, as you go to the next part of the process, you will have another 3x plus 2 over here. It's sort of a hint, okay? If you are unable to get 3x plus 2 there, then something is going wrong. So really, all you need to figure out now is what would be the number that you would be multiplying this 3x by, all right? And that would be the number here, such that it will be equal to negative 21x. And I hope you have seen that, oh, that would be a negative 7. Because negative 7 times 3x is negative 21x. And you will notice that that would, when multiplied by 2, is also going to give you negative 14. And there you go, right? And then what is the next step? What can you factor out here? Isn't it that 3x plus 2 appears here and here as well? So that means you can factor out the 3x plus 2. And what's going to happen is it will always be multiplied by another binomial, and the other binomial will be given by whatever is left after you took out the 3x plus 2. Now, if you're thinking, I'm not sure what that means. Now, guys, look. If I factor out the 3x plus 2 from this would go away, this would go away because it's a common factor. What is left? Only the x and the minus 7. And those two are what are going to go in here. And there is your answer, okay? So the factored form of 3x squared minus 19x minus 14 is this one. So we have answered letter A. All right? Now, what does letter B ask us to do? It says, using this factored form right here, determine possible dimensions of the rectangle if x is equal to 9. All right, so we are given a value for x equals 9. So what are we going to do? If x is equal to 9, we are going to plug that value into each of these two binomials. And we are going to think about, okay, which one could possibly be the length and which one could possibly be the width. So I think common sense tells us that whichever comes out to be a bigger number would represent the length, and the smaller number is the width. All right, so let's do it one at a time. If x equals 9, 3x plus 2 becomes what? 3 times 9 plus 2, and that would be 27 plus 2, and that would be 29. All right, so we have one value. What about if x is equal to 9 and we plug it into x minus 7, right? So that becomes 9 minus 7 is equal to 2. So guys, what do we have? We have a 29 and we have a 2. What that tells you is those two numbers would be your possible dimensions for your length and width. And I think it makes sense to say that, oh, the 29 would be your length and the 2 would be your width. All right, so to finish this off, possible dimensions of the rectangle are 29 centimeters for the length and 2 centimeters for the width. All right. Thank you for watching. Bye now.